So in case you missed it, I had to redo this review. I had it up, but I had to re-record it because I missed out on that crazy last page. That goddamn last page. So we go from last week's chapter that was downright just... No, I wasn't feeling last week's chapter, as most of you may know, to polar opposite with this chapter. We get progression, we get developments, we get revelation about Tartarus Guild. We get a lot of different big things, and it was just totally just, again, polar opposite. If the last chapter was 2, this chapter was more closer to like 9 and 10. But I'll give you that score at the end of the video. Starting off with the color page, I'm glad that Silver doesn't look identical to Gildarts. He looks very similar, but we see he has different hair color. And getting the color page kind of just, he looks a bit different than the Gildarts that we know. So I'm kind of glad that he doesn't look identical to him. It's not, you know, just a design rehash, so to speak. The beginning of the chapter I felt like was mostly recap, letting us know stuff that we kind of already knew, you know, about the Grand Magic games and a lot of stuff that was kind of happening beforehand, especially, you know, Tartarus, how they were kind of like supposedly knocking out dark guilds and whatnot. It was kind of like a recap of mostly stuff that we already know, so it wasn't a big deal for the beginning, but then shortly after, a fucking bang goes off. Getting introduced to this Jackal character and finding out his power where he could just make explosions is just like, he comes in and the entire Magic Council, excluding Doranbolt because he bolted his ass out of there, gets killed. Yes, people, death in Fairy Tail. Not incapacitated, death. So automatically this chapter opens up with a fucking bang. It starts so slow with the recap, and then it just explodes, and we get introduced to yet again another beast from Tartarus. So now that's the 3rd Tartarus member that we can say like, holy fuck. We got Silver with his fucking crazy ice dark magic. We got Kyoka freaking killing the entire Succubus guild just for the sake of it, just because, well, I want some powerful people and none of them measured up. And then you got this motherfucker killing all of the Magic Council again except Doranbolt, which Doranbolt barely made it out of there. If that's not proving the threat, I don't know what is. Because I think that's mainly what Hiro Mashima has been trying to do with Tartarus, because for the most part we've seen a lot of different foes. They've come and go, you know, they fight and whatnot, but I think he's really just trying to establish that this Tartarus guild is truly the greatest foe that they're gonna fight. You know, for a dark guild, they're taking out their own people. They came in there, one guy came in there and took out the entire Magic Council. I mean, that speaks volumes about the threat that they're facing. And then we get the star center of the entire chapter, because for me, this scene right here was one of the best parts of the entire chapter, hands down, where Doranbolt was questioning Cobra. He's there desperate, and Cobra doesn't want to comply, and he's just like, yo, puts the knife to his neck. That right there, just like, it shows the desperation, and it just increases the intensity. This whole chapter gave me a feeling that the Dragon arc didn't give, a lot of other arcs in Fairy Tail didn't give. The only, I'd say, slight part of Fairy Tail that gave me this was the Acnologia. I felt like the Acnologia gave me this despair, like, yo, what the fuck could they possibly do? I felt like that with that, but in this one, it was just like, the only comedy we got was in the middle, and you can say that, yeah, it was kind of necessary because it's just them chilling, and then they get the breaking news about what just happened. But this chapter just really displays something different from Fairy Tail, and it just gives you a lot of a darker tone, a lot of more serious tone, and a greater intensity. And I think that if Hiro Mashima's message and Hiro Mashima's point with this chapter was to say that Tartarus is this is it. This is the greatest threat they're going to face thus far, outside of course, Zeref himself and the Acnologia, then mission succeeded. I was kind of curious though with Cobra kind of saying, yeah, I'm not getting out of here unless you let the rest of them out. Like, why is he so loyal to the Arason states? I know that, you know, I guess maybe it's a loyalty thing or whatnot, but they never really were like friends or anything, and they let him out prior to this, you know, to go help out during the Dragon arc, and he didn't seem to mind. Then he didn't say, yeah, I need my entire guild with me. So it's kind of making me question, like, what is all of a sudden that he wants to be in there if they can't, you know, get out of there as well? Maybe just, I guess it has to be just down to straight up loyalty, because I've never seen him really be like friends with them or anything, or like really like, oh, I love my ass on face. It's kind of funny because out of all the Tartarus, the only one that I kind of see would possibly be maybe even slightly okay with humans is Silver himself, because in the chapter in the end where Kyoka's like, hey, why are you in your human form? It seems like maybe he's fond of them or something. This is me throwing a random guess out there. Maybe at one time he actually loved a human or something, and he kind of grew fond of them. Regarding the whole Gildarts look-alike situation, I understand that they have human forms, but we don't know exactly to what extent. How do they get those human forms? Maybe do they replicate what they've seen of humans? And here's just a thought, but what if Silver killed Gildarts and replicated his look? Just saying. Beautiful spread in the end, seeing 7 of the 9 of the Tartarus members there, and it's just like, they look fierce. We know that they're fierce, and that just prove the point. But don't worry, this time I'm going to talk about the last page. When Cobra drops that bombshell that they're all demons, all 9 of them, it's like, holy fuck. And he says basically that their master is called End, and he's pretty much the strongest out of all of Zero's books thus far. It's like, so they're going to fight a foe. Not only are they going to fight 9 demons, but they're going to fight a foe that is the greatest demon from Zero's book, which will probably be stronger than Actologia himself. Shit just got real. And it looking like Tartarus is going for war. I mean, hands down, this is the greatest fairy tale chapter we've gotten in months upon months upon months. Best since the Grand Magic Games ended, since the Dragon Arc ended. This was just really hands down proving a point. And I'm glad that this happened because I'm not, you know, I still do love fairy tale. It's not like I hate it or anything like that. And I'm glad when we got a bad chapter last week, we come back and it's like, okay, we got a great chapter. Prove me wrong. Yes, I want to be proved wrong. So overall, with everything taken into account, the progression, the developments, the revelations and everything, this chapter definitely give it a 9.5 out of 10. Didn't really need the recap in the beginning with the old guys. I felt like it went a little bit too long, as well as the middle parts with Fairy Tail kind of laughing and joking around. Didn't really think that was necessary either, but aside from that, this was just hands down, bar none, one of the best Fairy Tail chapters in a long time. Just really, it fucking took it home. But let me know what you think first of all. Silver, do you think there's a possibility that my crazy theory could be right and he copied Gildarts' look or something, and that's why he has that human form in particular, or they just were born with these human forms? And exactly how strong do you think End is? If he's stronger than Deliora, and I believe Actologia as well, then I don't see them being able to defeat, like, have they gotten that much stronger since the last time they went up against Actologia, and even Gildarts lost his arm fighting him? I don't know. This is too crazy. But that's all I have for this review. Thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed. Thumbs up for Tartarus, and thumbs up for Doran because that scene was the prize winner of the entire fucking chapter. Him and fucking Cobra, like, it was just explosive. I'm ForneverWorld, and as always, people, have an awesome day.